An educational roller coaster, navigating the USA's system. America's education system? It's like a bag of mixed nuts full of surprises and inconsistencies. You got your public schools, your private schools, and those charter schools trying to be all fancy pants, each with its own set of rules and standards. Public schools? They're like the backbone, educating the majority of kids across the country. But hold on, their quality can vary drastically depending on where you live, creating a patchwork of educational experiences. Rich neighborhood? Probably a decent school with plenty of resources and opportunities. Poor neighborhood? Good luck with that. The schools often struggle with underfunding and lack of resources. Private schools are like that exclusive club you need a secret password and a trust fund to get into, offering a different world of education. They often boast smaller class sizes, personalized attention, and fancy facilities that public schools can only dream of. But hey, not everyone can afford a yacht, let alone private school tuition. It's a luxury many can't even consider. Then there are charter schools, a sort of hybrid experiment in the educational landscape. They operate independently, but still receive public funding, aiming to innovate and improve education. Some people love them, some hate them. It's complicated, with debates about their effectiveness and fairness. But here's the thing, folks. Education shouldn't be a game of chance or a privilege for the few. Every kid, regardless of their zip code or their parents' bank account, deserves a quality education that prepares them for the future. Unfortunately, that's not always the reality in America. Many students face overcrowded classrooms and outdated facilities. The problem is our education system is about as consistent as a toddler's attention span, constantly shifting priorities. One minute it's funding cuts, the next minute it's standardized testing galore, leaving teachers and students in a constant state of flux. It's enough to make your head spin faster than a gyroscope in a washing machine, trying to keep up with all the changes. We need to figure out a way to provide a quality education for all students regardless of where they come from or how much money their parents make. It's time for a system that works for everyone, ensuring every child has the opportunity to succeed. Funding gaps and quality quakes, the uneven landscape of American education. Let's talk about money, shall we? Because when it comes to education funding in America, things get ugly. Imagine a seesaw with a very large, very rich person on one end, and a tiny underfunded school on the other. Yeah, it's not exactly a fair fight. Public schools rely heavily on local property taxes. So, wealthy areas with big houses and fancy cars, their schools are basically swimming in cash. Meanwhile, schools in low-income communities struggle to keep the lights on, and the textbooks from falling apart. This creates a system where your zip code can determine the quality of your education. This funding gap has real consequences, folks. It means some students get access to top-notch teachers, state-of-the-art facilities, and a buffet of extracurricular activities. Others get stuck with overcrowded classrooms, outdated textbooks, and a leaky roof that rains on their parade. Literally. This isn't just unfair, it's a recipe for disaster. We need to find a way to level the playing field and ensure that every student has access to the resources they need to succeed. Because right now, we're failing a whole lot of kids, and that's not just a shame, it's a national crisis. The price of knowledge. College costs and the looming debt crisis. As we dive into this pressing issue, let's take a closer look at how the dream of higher education has turned into a financial nightmare for many. Remember when college was supposed to be the golden ticket to a better life? A time when graduation meant stepping into a world of opportunities and endless possibilities? Yeah, those were simpler times. Back then, the cost of education was manageable, and the return on investment seemed almost guaranteed. Today, college is more like a high-stakes game of financial roulette, where you might end up with a mountain of debt and a degree in something you can't even pronounce. The stakes have never been higher, and the risks are daunting. The cost of college tuition has skyrocketed faster than a SpaceX rocket. Over the past few decades, tuition fees have increased exponentially, outpacing inflation and wage growth. It's enough to make your student loan balance look like a phone number from a galaxy far, far away. The numbers are staggering and the burden is overwhelming. And let's not even get started on the hidden costs, like textbooks that cost more than a used car and housing fees that would make a real estate mogul blush. These additional expenses only add to the financial strain. This leaves many students drowning in debt before they even land their first real job. The pressure to repay these loans can be suffocating, affecting their mental health and overall well-being. We're talking about mountains of debt that would make a snowman blush. the sheer volume of what students owe is enough to make anyone shiver. This debt can delay major life milestones like buying a house, starting a family, or finally investing in that lifetime supply of ramen noodles. The financial strain can have long-term repercussions on their future. We can't keep treating higher education like a luxury item only accessible to the wealthy. Education should be a right, not a privilege reserved for those who can afford it. It's time to find ways to make college more affordable and less like a financial death trap. We need comprehensive reforms and innovative solutions to address this crisis. Otherwise, we risk saddling an entire generation with crippling debt and a serious case of buyer's remorse. The future of our society depends on how we tackle this issue today. Section 4. Learning in the Digital Age, Online Education and the Rise of Skills-Based Training. In this section, we will explore how the digital revolution is transforming the way we learn and acquire new skills. Hold on to your floppy disks, folks, because the world of education is going digital. The days of dusty chalkboards and clunky overhead projectors are being replaced by sleek laptops and interactive online platforms. Online learning platforms are popping up faster than mushrooms after a rainstorm. From coding boot camps to language learning apps, there's something for everyone. And while some might mourn the loss of chalkboards and overhead projectors, the truth is, online education offers a lot of potential. It opens up a world of opportunities that were previously unimaginable. Think about it. You can learn from anywhere in the world, at your own pace and in your pajamas. No more rigid schedules or uncomfortable classroom chairs. Plus, online courses can be more affordable and accessible than traditional brick-and-mortar institutions. This means that higher education is no longer a privilege reserved for the few. No need to commute through rush hour traffic or fight for a parking spot the size of a postage stamp. But wait, there's more. The convenience of online learning extends beyond just saving time and money. The rise of skills-based education is shaking things up too. This approach focuses on equipping students with practical skills that are directly applicable to the job market. Instead of just focusing on traditional degrees, more and more people are seeking specialized training in high-demand fields like tech, healthcare, and renewable energy. These fields are constantly evolving, and skills-based training ensures that students are up to date with the latest industry standards. These programs often have shorter completion times and can lead directly to employment. This means that students can start their careers sooner and with less debt. It's like a fast track to a career without the 4-year detour and the student loan hangover. Imagine graduating with a skill set that is in high demand and stepping right into a job. This shift towards online learning and skills-based training reflects the changing needs of the job market. Employers are increasingly looking for candidates who can hit the ground running. Employers today are looking for specific skills and experience, not just a piece of paper that says you went to a fancy school. They want to see what you can do and how you can contribute to their organization. It's time for education to adapt to these changes and prepare students for the jobs of the future, not the jobs of the past. The future of education is here, and it's digital, flexible, and skills-focused. Section 5. Tuition-free dreams and income-share realities. Exploring new funding avenues. Okay, let's talk solutions. How do we fix this whole college affordability mess? Well, some folks are pushing for tuition-free college, and it sounds pretty great on paper. Imagine a world where everyone can access higher education without having to sell a kidney or take out a second mortgage. It would be like winning the lottery, but with less glitter and confetti. But hold on, free tuition doesn't magically make college free. Someone still has to pay for those professors, those buildings, and those questionable cafeteria meals. This means higher taxes, which not everyone is thrilled about. Another idea gaining traction is income share agreements, or ISAs. It's like a futuristic loan where you agree to pay back a percentage of your income after you graduate. Think of it as investing in your future self. If you land a high-paying job, you'll contribute more. If you're struggling, your payments will be lower. These are just two examples of innovative funding models being explored. It's clear that the old way of doing things isn't working. We need to be willing to think outside the box and find solutions that make college affordable and accessible for everyone, not just the privileged few. Section 6. A call to action. Reimagining education for a changing world. Look, folks, the American education system is like a vintage car. It might have looked shiny and new back in the day, but it's sputtering, stalling, and in dire need of an overhaul. We can't keep trying to fix it with duct tape and hope for the best. We need to rethink everything from funding to curriculum to how we prepare students for the jobs of the future. This isn't a job for politicians or policymakers alone. It requires all of us, parents, teachers, students, and concerned citizens, to demand better. So what can you do? Talk to your local representatives, support organizations fighting for education reform, and make your voice heard. The future of our nation depends on it. Because a well-educated population is a strong population, and right now, America needs all the strength it can get.